I just startled the cat when I put the spoon down. Well, hi there, I'm Ron Juckett, and it's a happy recap. I want to see what she does here. As the Nationals have won on this August 4th afternoon by a score of 4-2, Tanner Roark picks up the win, and then the bullpen combination of Brandon Kitzler, Ryan Madsen, and Sean Doolittle. They bent a little bit, but they did not break as no runs crossed after the home run by Baez, who just absolutely crushed one. And the Nats win 4-2 to end the 3-game losing streak and hopefully calm some of you people down. The lead right now is 12.5 games. They went to Wrigley Field. They won the opener. The Cubs threw Bryce Harper some strikes. Daniel Murphy with multiple home runs today. She doesn't want to be on camera. She's going to go back to sleep. So I'll go back here. No one's watching anyway. And so I just saw one viewer pop on. So it's a good day for the Nationals. Let's get right to the totals. Let's see. I should have done that beforehand. Oh, no, it's the box scores here. Okay, so 4 runs, 7 hits for the Nats, and no errors. They go to 64-43. The Cubs, 2 runs on 6 hits and no errors. They go to 57-51. Tanner Roark picks up the win, and he pitched really well today. Pitched 6 great innings, gave up the homer to Baez in the 7th. Should never have started the 7th inning, but that's another story for another day. Kyle Hendricks goes to 4-4 with a loss. And Sean Doolittle's now 5 for 5 in save situations. He gave up an absolute rope of a single to Jason Hayward in the 9th. But Anthony Ren, a strikeout to Schwarber, who was thinking homer instead of reaching. And then the final out to end the ball game on the double play. I think it was Hayward. So that was it. So a good all-around effort. The Cubs, by the way, fall to 57-51. And let's just dispel this right now. There are no other games in progress, and that was the only day game today. Into the games that matter in the National League, Cardinals and Reds at 6:40, Pirates and Padres at 7:05, Dodgers and Mets at 7:10, Miami and Atlanta at 7:35, Philly and Colorado at 8:40, Arizona, San Francisco at 10:15, and the local Orioles host the Tigers at 7:05. So with runners in scoring position today, the Nats went 2 for 5. Come on, scroll when I want you to. They stranded 5, but they went 2 for 5 in risky situations. That's always good. Murphy with 2 homers, his 19th of the year. Now the first off of Hendricks, a 2-run shot to just over the wall in right center, and then one in the left center in the 6th. And that was it. That was the only 2 extra base hits today. They had 6 singles or 5 singles and 2 home runs. You know what? I think when I had the last game, they only had singles. Mickey will still give me a hard time for taking away all his kabooms. But that's just the type of guy he is. All right, so Tanner Roark, 6 in the 3rd innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, walked 3 and struck out 4. The home run to Baez in the 7th. His ERA drops to 4.82, but his last 5 starts have been very good. 103 pitches, 67 strikes. Kinsler goes 2/3 of an inning and a walk. 0s across the board. 14 pitches, 8 strikes. Madsen, an inning pitched, 2 strikeouts and a hit batsman. That's it. 17 pitches and 13 strikes. Doolittle got the side on 6 pitches, a single and a strikeout and around the horn double play, 6 for 5. So his 8th save and his 5th for the Nats in front of 41,396 on a cold day, 63 degrees and windy. It took 2 hours and 43 minutes to play it. So let's see. Yep, Seth, I got a bunch of stuff to read from you. Hey, Ron, Calvin is my new favorite player. Boy, he really is something. There was someone in the Twitter chat who wonders how much playing time he's going to get after Worth comes back. I think he'll get a fair amount. Worth is able to draw 12 pitch at bats, and Kendrick can play a bunch of positions. Dude did it a little. No, Dude has done it a lot. 5 out of 5. Good start to the series. Great start to the series, Seth. The Nats' new bullpen, Kinsler, Madsen, and Doolittle were in the final 8. Seth thinks this feels like a playoff series. It would if the Nats starting pitchers were all there. The only playoff starter you'll see pitch today, and that kind of did, Seth, you're right. You're right that it felt like a playoff game because Roark would be the game 4 starter, and he got just 6 innings. He got just 6 shutout innings. I'd have had Kinsler in to start the 7th, but he gave you what he needed to do. And again, this offense isn't completely healthy. Kendrick is just, at one point, he was 10 for 20 since joining the Nats. That doesn't include the last couple times up. And Murphy is a 404 hitter at Wrigley Field. So, yes, it was a big win for the Nats. Huge win for the Nats. But it was coming. I mean, when we talked the last time, this isn't a team that was making all sorts of mental errors. They just weren't hitting, and they got hit by injuries all of a sudden. Any word on Scherzer? Judo, right now, the word is that he will pitch the opener of the Miami series at home on Monday as long as he continues to feel well. Pushed back at least one day. It should be Edward Jackson tomorrow, and Eric Fetty will get the call back up from Syracuse to face John Lester on Sunday afternoon on national television on TBS. In fact, all 3 of these games are on national TV. I watched today at MLB Network, and tomorrow is on MLB Network, and Sunday will be a TBS game for those of you who might watch from outside the area. So, yes, a big win for the Nats. I'm going to be negative for just a half a second. What do you guys think of Matt Wieters? He just looked terrible at the plate today. Overmatched on everything, swinging and missing. I really do think that it's time to look at some other options for catcher. But look, this is the reason why they made all those trains for relievers, and they threw 3 innings today, and they didn't allow an earned run. They gave up in the last 8 outs. They had 3 base runners, and no one got past second base. That's what you want to do. Madsen's hitting 98 on the gun. It's what you want. It's exactly what you want. It's what they treated for, and they didn't have to give up that much to get it. So, I think everyone's entitled to have a bad series, and they didn't play well in Miami. Let's be honest about that. Or after the Scherzer injury. But I do think this is a team that plays to the level of its competition. When the crowd's into it and excited, like they were today in Chicago, the Nats are going to respond. And when you play in silence or virtual silence, as they do in Miami, it's going to be tough because it's hard to get excited for those games. And yes, Seth, I do like the Nats' new bullpen, and I'm delighted, Judo, that your interview went well today. Hopefully you get hired. Right. That was the whole point, Judo, was to essentially say, look, if we can lead after 6 innings, we're going to win this game. It's how the Cubs did it last year. It's how the Yankees have done it in the past. I mean, great. It's how the Royals won a World Series 2 years ago. Well, we get the lead after 6 innings. We're going to shut you down the last 3. And the Nationals are doing that. I'm not sure if Kinsler, Madsen, and Doolittle are the right order. But that's what it is now, and it hasn't failed yet. I'm surprised Kinsler's getting the 7th, but that also takes some of the pressure off of those who have been overworked. Eddie Romero, who's probably going to go on who did go on the disabled list, don't know how severely injured he is. Matt Albers, Ollie Perez, Sean Kelly when he comes back, Joe Blanton. I mean, there's plenty of other pitchers there, but these are the 3 you want to ride in the playoffs. And first indication is that it works. Kinsler is the all-star version of late trying. Well, he's not going to strike out a lot, but if you saw the Cubs team, WGN had his opponent's batting average today. This includes, of course, his time with the Twins. The opponents are only hitting 174 off him. With an ERA over 3.5, they're hitting 174 off. Yeah, I think you take that. Trinan, when he's good, is very good because in the slider that hit 99, 100 miles an hour to go along with the ground ball inducing stuff. Very impressed. Actually, both of the Kinsler appearances have been mine. I've been very impressed with what I've seen. Well, the last two have been mine. And I like the combination of Madsen and Doolittle as they are now. I know that some of you would like to see Madsen as a closer. But if it's working, why change it? Everyone will get the chance. Someone will blow a save, and they'll try to plug in and see where we are. But right now, don't change a thing. Coco tweets from Seth. First look at Kinsler, Madsen, Doolittle in succession was damn impressive. Challenged them through strikes, missed bats, and got ground balls. It didn't help. It certainly helped Doolittle that the Cubs wanted home runs. That Schwarber and Baez were swinging for the downs and couldn't get anywhere. But yeah, possibly, if this is the last 9-out combination here, they can put some fear into some other teams with that. They're very effective, and Madsen looks so comfortable in the 8th inning, and he faced the heart of the Cubs order too. So, all in all, very good stuff. I think you got to take, as Seth says, you got to take a lot of positives out of this. They looked a lot more engaged today than they did on Wednesday. Harper was throwing strikes, and that's good. And Rendon, what can't he do? So the good news is, a piece of good news is today that Michael A. Taylor continues his rehab. He will start again today. Don't know if he'll see him this weekend for the Cubs. Likely you will see him back for, don't hold me to this. This is just speculation on my part. He'll be back for the Marlins on Monday. Let's see if anything is said. What the word is on Twitter. The 3-headed monster in the bullpen looks pretty dominant, at least today. Starters have to go 6 innings and lights out. That's from FM Dano 74. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is what you made those moves for. You didn't have to give anyone big up for it. I'm surprised that they gave up Trinan, and they gave up someone that Ricky was supposed to talk to. Oh, no, that was the Kendrick deal. So both of the moves that they made in July, the move to get Howie Kendrick was brilliant. The move for Kinsler looks good so far. And Madsen and Doolittle have really changed the way that you guys are thinking about the bullpen, and that's all that matters. And for the Nats themselves, that's very important too, because they feel that as we've said, you get into the 7th inning with a lead, you're feeling like you got a chance to win a ball game. You're feeling like you've done your job, and that just takes so much of the pressure off. It's so hard in October anyway. And I'm hearing off camera that it's Don Orsillo and Ron Darling on TBS on Sunday for the Nats and the Cubs. And yes, I do like that. I like them both an awful lot. I've actually enjoyed Len and JD today watching on MLB Network. And Dave Jagler sounded very good on television with FP in the couple of games I watched this week. So pretty much that's it. The Nats win the opener of this series 4-2. Really nothing you can kind of go through. Tanner Roark looked very good. Did exactly what he was supposed to do. Excuse me. The bullpen, Dusty Baker probably should have put Kinsler in to start the 7th, because Baez did hit that monster home run, but they worked around it. They didn't get confidence down. It was 3-2 after the home run. They got 1 run back. They loaded the bases up in the 8th inning. I mean, this offense still can score a lot of runs. They didn't panic, and they went and took a game against a team that they will need to beat in October to advance, and they did. So let's take a look at the minors real quick. I don't think anything has started yet. Oh, yes, they have started. Rochester and Syracuse are playing a twin bill tonight in Syracuse. Jacob Turner starting for Syracuse. No score on the top of the 2nd. Valdez pitches the nightcap. He has no record in a 9 ERA. Harrisburg plays Binghamton tonight. Binghamton's pitcher is the infamous Johnny Holstaff, is to be determined. Greg Ross gets a start for Harrisburg, 2-1 with a 6.95 ERA. Baez gets a start for Potomac as they plays Winston-Salem tonight at 7 o'clock. Baez 1-7 with a 5.09 ERA, and Michael A. is playing for Potomac tonight. Hopefully they will not intentionally walk his butt 2 or 3 times. Hagerstown and Lakewood at 7:05. Hagerstown goes with Davis. He's 2-3 with a 6.85 ERA. Mahong Valley visits Auburn in the Eastern League, New York Penn League action. Crows. Will Crow, second pick for the Nats, gets his first start for Auburn. Okay, a couple finals from one for the Dominican. The Nats lose to the one of the Mets squads, 6-1. Vallejo takes a loss. He goes to 0-6 with an 8.10 ERA, and the Gulf Coast Nats get pounded by the Astros 11-1. German with a loss, or Jermaine 0-2 with a 2.93 ERA. No, Seth, those 0 for 4s for Goodwin aren't so rare. He has really struggled coming out of the break. Lots and lots of strikeouts. Seems a bit overmatched, but remember, for a lot of these players, they're tired. They've played a lot of baseball this year. The Nats have gone through most of their offensive depth, and they have continued to keep playing well despite that. I remember they are down 3 starters right now, or essentially 4. They lost Adam Eaton for the year, and they're still down Jason Worth, Michael Taylor, and Trey Turner. How is Turner doing? He hasn't started full baseball activities yet. I think early August was a bit optimistic, but I'm not hearing any reasons why he shouldn't be back before late August at the latest. Worth and Taylor should be back sooner than Turner, but they'll all be back for September anyway, at the latest. Haven't hurt to step back. Remember when Freddie Freeman had his wrist broke in a game, he was out about 12 weeks, and so I imagine that's going to be about the same for Turner. So no reason to worry there. And so even though there won't be any Adam Eaton come the latter part of August, it'll be interesting to see again once this offense gets fully together to see what they can do. And now if you have a bullpen that can lock down games after the 7th inning, that's a stroke of business. And if it means that Doolittle's the closer, Doolittle's the closer. He doesn't blow to save yet. And outside of giving up an opening base runner a couple times, once he has a runner on base, you really haven't had to worry, and that's really all you got to worry about. What did we do today on the site? Ricky did the 5 storylines to watch for the series. Go read that. And I did a story on the 5 possible starting pitcher trade targets that the Nats might look at this August. Not sure if any of them are likely, but if they need another starter, go take a look at districtondeck.com and see what names I figured would be ones that could be on the team later on this year. There's no perfect solution, but they're all will plug a hole. Seth says we need a dynamic leadoff hitter. I think once you get Turner back, I think you'll be fine. Kendrick is just so wonderful, and he also has 9 stolen bases. So maybe you stick Kendrick in lead off and take some of the pressure off a Goodwin. Ricky also gives a good argument that Wilmer Defoe should be a leadoff hitter. You never know. Right now, I think you're just trying to find the gaps in play to while people get healthy again, and that's the main thing. You got to be healthy coming into October, and there's a very good chance that's going to happen. So that will do it from here. Drew will be with you tomorrow, and Drew will be with you Sunday on Twitter as well. Tomorrow on Twitter and here on YouTube. He'll be with you Sunday on Twitter, and Ricky and someone from Cubby's Crib will join Ricky for the post-game show on Sunday. So, for everyone at District on Deck, I'm Ron Jeckett. Hope you have a wonderful Friday night. When will I talk to you? I'll talk to you again sometime next weekend. I get some time off next week. So it was good to be with you guys. DistrictOnDeck.com is where you can read everything. Give us a like on Twitter, or follow us on Twitter at District on Deck, and Facebook, of course, District on Deck, and give this video a like and subscribe. I probably won't be here tomorrow too, Seth. I'll see you sometime soon. Be nice to the other guys. They win you ball games too. We'll talk to you the next time.